Hi, Mom. How are you today?
Hi Dave, how are you?
Good. Glad to be here. My name's Dave Winther, and this is my mother, Norma Winther, and we're here to talk a little bit about Murray Grove. So, Mom, when were you at Murray Grove?
Well, I was a high school student when I went to Murray Grove, and that would have been maybe about 1945 and 46, right after the war years, World War II. And that part of the world was very different, I suppose, from what it is today. It was a sleepy little area. We used to take walks in the dark at night on what I guess now is the highway that runs in front of Murray Grove. It was a sleepy little country lane at that time.
Probably Route 9.
Yes,
Yeah.
Route 9, and it was safe to walk there in the dark at night. The only thing were the crickets and the mosquitoes.
So what are some of the memories you have of Murray Grove?
Well, it was a fun place to be as a high school student. We had classes. There were people who came from the Universalist headquarters, from Beacon, as we called it then, who were our teachers, and they held classes. And then in the afternoon we had all kinds of activities. We did a lot of square dancing in the building that was, I don't know whether it's still in existence or not, but it was parallel to the highway, and it had a great big screened-in porch around it. And it was cool in the evening in that porch. And we did a lot of square dancing and singing and playing of games and that sort of thing.
Oh, that's terrific. You had mentioned something funny about mosquitoes before.
Well, the mosquitoes were really bad in that area. This was before the era of DDT and that sort of thing. And particularly in the old church that was not owned by us, it was owned by the Methodists. But they allowed us to hold a service there once a year in commemoration of Thomas Potter and Murray Grove's meeting. And so once a year, and I can't remember, I think it may have been in August, when that church was open and we could hold services there. And the only thing that inhabited that church at that time were the mosquitoes. And they were thick. And we used to complain that most people walk, let's see if I can, this way, but in Murray Grove you walk this way, because you're so covered with mosquito bites that you're scratching wherever you go. But they were Universalist mosquitoes, so that was okay.
All right, well that's good. Did you learn a lot about Universalism while you were there?
Well, I particularly remember several people who were our teachers. One was a man named Ned Grimes, Grimes. And Ned Grimes came from Boston. He was a man who was married, had children, and he used to talk to us about "To thine own self be true."
That's Shakespeare, right?
Yes. And a year or so later, he came out of the closet as a gay man.
Wow.
And in that period, that was very unusual. He was the first person I never knew of who was gay. And we were all quite shocked. And we realized that he had been talking about himself when he was saying, "To thine own self be true."
Interesting.
And I don't know what happened to him, because at the point where he came out, I was a student at St. Lawrence University in the theological school as well as the School of Liberal Arts. And this, of course, was a Universalist theological school, St. Lawrence. And we never heard another word about Ned Grimes. So I don't know what happened to him.
Interesting.
The other people that we were exposed to, one was Sophia Foz, whose name many people, I guess, have heard of in context of Sunday school materials. She wrote a lot of the textbooks used in our church schools. And she was a very forward-thinking woman. I was very impressed with the text materials we used in our Sunday schools, because we were among the first to use things like role play, open-ended stories, which was very much in the forefront of modern education at that time. and Sophia Foz was one of the ones responsible for that. There was another woman, Alice, and I'm not sure, her last name might have been Lockwood, but I'm not positive. She was another one that we all liked very, very much. But we had great respect for these people who were our teachers. And as I say, I don't remember specific courses, but I do remember little vignettes about them, like the Ned Grimes story and Sophia Foz, whose name impressed us and is a name still revered in Universalist circles and in Unitarian, though she was a Universalist and was part of Beacon Press, which was Universalist originally.
Did you have any fun and games while you were at Mary Grove, or remembrances about the food, for example?
Well, the food, I remember there was one friend of my family's who was a member of the Restoration Church. His name was Harry Bridge, and Harry and his wife
That's
Lena,
Restoration in Mount Airy?
Mount Airy.
Section
yes.
of Philadelphia. Right?
Yes, exactly. And Harry and Lena Bridge had a little house not far from Tom's River. And Harry was an avid fisherman. And he'd go and catch this huge bunch of little tiny fish that his wife didn't want. So he brought them to Mary Grove, and we ate them for breakfast and thought they were wonderful.
That's terrific.
So I guess he went out at 5 o'clock in the morning or something to catch them, and then he'd deposit them all with us. And
I wonder what kind of fish?
What would they have been? Porgies, maybe?
Porgies? Salt water?
I assume so, yes.
Yeah.
They were small enough that they were fried up in a pan and served for breakfast. So that was. Other than that, I can't say I remember a whole lot about the food. I remember we did a lot of singing at the dining table.
This little light of mine?
Well, that kind of thing, but we also sang challenging songs. One table would start and the other table was supposed to respond. And I taught you the one, and your brothers and your son and his cousins about the states.
Oh yeah, sure.
Where's pencil gone? And another table answers, is going to take Virginia home, and this kind of thing. And we had a lot of fun with that.
Oh, that's great. Well, this has been terrific, and here we are on April 1st, 2016, talking. And you were there in the mid-1940s.
Right.
So that was quite a few years ago.
Yes, it was. And then you followed me as a student in your high school years.
I was there in the late 60s and early 1970s as well. And so we've seen, collectively between the two of us, a lot of changes.
Yes, we have.
And more coming.
Yes.
Well, terrific. Thanks very much.
You're welcome. I enjoyed talking with you about Mary Grove. Cold and all, right?
Yeah, very good.